Okay, so I don't know if you can see. I gotta get myself focused myself here underneath. Not using a jack or anything. You see the bolt is right up there. So it's a 15 mil. Make sure your pan is completely underneath your bolt. Sometimes they're a little stiff. Sometimes they're very free, depending on the last oil change. And I can feel that. And the oil is very hot. Well, alright, and there you go. She's filling up there now. A lot of oil. Well, I gotta tell you, this is hard to do, filming with one hand and doing this with the other. As you can see, she's moving. For first time oil changers, you need one of these wrenches, and I'll show you how they really work after I'm done with this. Now it's loose. I'm probably going to get a bit of oil in my... Yeah, getting a bit of oil dripping there now. So this is your oil filter, and this is your machine to tighten and loosen your oil filter. As you can see, it goes on, and when you turn, it tightens. So I'm going to just hold the filter for you just to show you when it's in place. When you go outward, you can see it tightens up. Then when you go this way, it loosens up. But you see it tightens up again onto the side of the filter, making the filter turn for you. Because you're just not going to be able to do it moving it with your hands, because you got to put that on very, very tight with the engine, so no oil would leak out through. It's only a few little treads there in that center hub there, and you can see around the little holes, that's the filter inside the red filter, and that's what holds your oil and keeps it clean. And once you got the oil filter put back on, you take this off. Some people have another filter right here, but this just has a cap. And make sure you have a big funnel, I guess a funnel of your choice. I'm going to do this and put my 10W30 in, what it's required, and then I'll be starting her up and seeing how she goes. And the oil is 10W30 that it takes. I also have a new cap for this. Someone had made a homemade cap for the coolant, and I actually have the original cap to go back on it. See, that just goes down and it will tighten, and there you go. I may should turn it around the other way so you can see it, but that's okay for now. Make sure all your oil, check your oil after. Make sure your coolant is at a good level, and check your windshield wash, of course, and your brake. As you know, this is the power steering version, and you can also check that by moving the lever up here, and this cap comes off if you're not too familiar with it. And now we're going to move on inside to see the rest of the engine. So after removing the housing inside, make sure that you spray all your working parts on your carburetor. Make sure that everything is perfectly clean. I've just done that, actually. I used some carburetor cleaner for this gauge here, and then I put some WD-40 on it just to lubricate it. And I also just sprayed around some parts of the carburetor here, just to clean it up just a slight bit. You can see that that was very dirty. Now it's gone to like a brass color. You can see the carburetor cleaner does wonders on that. And I'm going to move to the other side of the carburetor to show you. That's the driver's side. The other side was the choke that I just showed you. Now this is the throttle. It's a little dark. I'm very sorry about that. I don't have a light hooked up yet. This is for your throttle. Make sure you sprays the springs, all the little mechanisms that move here, you know, just to keep it free and things like that over the years. It just gets really dirty. And up here, of course, this goes up and down. That's your, it's got to do with your throttle as well. Spray that with the carburetor cleaner and then WD-40 afterwards. And as you can see, I got the top pan taken off so I can show you. There's the butterflies there, choke. You can see it's open, so she's cold right now. So when I go to press on the throttle now, that should close. But what you should do is spray in there with some carburetor cleaner when you start her up. And don't spray an awful lot, you know, until she stalls or anything like that. But if you know that she's starting to, you know, cut back on the engine and starting to die out there, just hold back on the carburetor cleaner, and then when she races back up, spray it again, and you're cleaning all the injectors and things like that inside the carburetor. Do it one at a time. There's one inside here, and then there's one inside on the other side. This is a 2-barrel carburetor, by the way. They also came with a 4-barrel carburetor, and I'll be showing you the 2 different types if you're not too familiar with it. And I'll be showing you like how to spray and where to spray and things like that. But I'm going to show you right now that this is on the engine, so this is what you would see on your vehicle. There's your 4-barrel and 2-barrel carburetors. So, as you can see, that's your 2-barrel. There's your 2-barrel. And then there's this piece that was added on for your 4-barrel. And that's what gives you your performance on the highway or wherever you prefer. And I'll show you again. See the size? Much smaller. It's about a half of a carburetor compared to this one. And I'll be showing you a few little options here that we've put on over the years. You can see right here is for your choke. And it also has the exact same thing over here. But it also has a lever on this one because it's a 4-barrel. And we dropping down here. This is what you called a electric choke. And over here is a aftermarket pull-out choke. That's a manual choke with a rod. There's also a hot air choke as well. So I'll be showing you this carburetor has something a little different that came out a few years after in the 1980s. It also has the plug right here, and that is also for that would be for your computer, which means it's computerized. In 1981, a lot of vehicles went computerized, but still stayed with the carburetor instead of a fuel injection or a throttle body. I'm showing you to the back, and I'll bring you over to the 2-barrel, showing you the back. And I will be turning this to the front so you can see it much better. There's a valve down here, or a vacuum hose goes in there. And then I will be showing you the front of this one. This is your 2-barrel. And I bring you over to this side. And So, this would be a quad-jet Rochester carburetor. And this over here is what they call a dual-jet Rochester carburetor. All made by General Motors. And I'll bring you around once again so you can see. The hoses are the same up here, here, and here. And you can see that it has the same in the front as well. And this is for your fuel. Some have, some models actually did not have a gas filter in these, and some did, depending on where it was actually manufactured. But there should be a little tiny filter in there for your gas. If you don't have one, I recommend to find one, even if it's not actually for the carburetor, but it actually fits in there. It'll be perfect, because you don't want dirty gas in your carburetor. It gunks it up. Your carburetor is very picky sometimes. You can see why they swapped them out over the years for the fuel injection. So there is the 2-barrel and 4-barrel carburetors. And before I come to a close on this, this is what I was talking about spraying. It's this mechanism here and your little spray inside. What I should do is show you the 2-barrel, because I've showed you that on the engine. And I am going to show you that you spray all this gears here. This is for your throttle. Spray inside there. Make sure your rod is half loose so we can work away there. You can see a screw in there. That's your oiling screw, things like that. And open up your carburetor and spray inside. Not sure if you could see. You can see the barrels there now. Spray inside those. You'll probably get a little bit of water coming out of your tailpipe, which is actually a good thing. That's fine, don't worry about that. You're just cleaning up your engine. And same goes for here. Same old, same old. Just could be missing just a rod here and there because it's a 4-barrel. And if you're also spraying for your 4-barrel, also open this up, and you can see inside there. You can spray in there as well. These things don't open up until you're at a very high speed. That's what gives it its performance, of course. And this is more just for the fuel economy type of thing, for people that really don't want to be out racing or anything. You know, really that's what that's for. Very high speeds on the highway, things like that. But if you're not out racing or going really fast, 2-barrel is fine for you. A lot of people don't even like the carburetors, of course. They find the dome for a 2-barrel and swap it out to the throttle body, or they just completely do the engine and put a fuel injection import in there. So there's your 2 carburetors. Next, I'm going to be showing you how to replace your rotor cap and button. And how to take that from the engine is you need a screwdriver, and there's 4 screws. You can see there's one there, and then there's one up there and 2 on the other side. And you can see what they would do. So you put that in the pocket there where the screw is, and you see that it's turning. So it leaves the little tray that it's holding on. And we go over to this one here. And again, I will show you. This one hasn't been moved in a very long time. There we go, as you can see. And then you replace the 2 that's on this side. Make sure it's away from the plate. And then we have one more here. And so that is unlocked. So when removing, you just wiggle it and haul it up. You may have a few little things there in the way. Don't take your spark plug wires off just yet. And you have a few little plugs here that you need to unplug. And they can be a bit tricky when you got a camera in one hand. So after the rotor cap is taken off, you have this. And this is your button. And you have to replace, or you have to take that screw out there and that screw there. And make sure you know exactly right where it's pointing. And this one is probably not completely unscrewed on this side. Some have bolts, some have screws, and some are different colors, as in white or black or anything in that nature. You can see that that's the new one, and this is what it looks like. And this one here actually looks quite new, but it's being replaced anyway with this one. Before I go on, actually I should show you. Not sure if you can focus, it's pretty dark. There's your screw holes right there, here, and here. And that's where they go, and there's the screws there. So, as you can see, that it was pointing this way, so leave it that way. And then we're going to move on to dismantling the top of the rotor cap. And before moving on, it's good to spray a little bit of carburetor cleaner within this cap while you got this on. Just give it a little spray around, because they do get a little dusty every now and then, and a bit of carburetor cleaner won't hurt the contacts. So when removing the top cap, there is a nut right here, a bolt, and you go back quite some ways, and I don't know why it's so dark. It's not all that dark here, it's just the camera's not focusing on the light here. Not understanding. So you get my point anyway. So I got those bolts out there. This one here is ready to fall out. I took that off a little prematurely, I think. Like I said, I'm sorry about the lighting. It's the camera all the way. And we got a little bit of a... There we go. Starting to move there now. So, as you can see, we'll disconnect this one because we know where that goes. So we take that off, and you can see this piece here needs to be put onto your new one. That piece there. Okay, and I'm going to put this back on for now, and then I'm going to remove this piece and put it into the new rotor cap. Here we go. Now you can see there's a bit of light here now. You can see that where the wires go, things like that. So you take those 4 bolts out there, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and make sure that you know where your wires go. See here much better. There you go. Don't forget to remove this before putting in your coil, and also remove this from your original and put it into your new one. This is just your ground for your wires, and you'll also see a gasket as well that goes over after you put your new plug-in right there, and your gasket goes over. You can see the design there, the same as the gasket. And once you have those bolts tightened on your new distributor cap, then you need to put your wires in here, and I'll show you where they go. So you can see that's your prongs, your yellow goes here, and the red goes on this side, as you can see. And just make sure that you get it into the pocket correctly. So I'm going to show you again while you can see. This is how it goes. You can see the grounds right here. Make sure that's right underneath the bolt. And then you put your cap, your black cap goes back over, and that goes into that screw there, and that will screw over here. So that's your black cap that goes on top. And there you go. There's your distributor cap reinstalled on your engine. Don't forget to check out the next part on how to replace your spark plugs and wires, and a few other little things there going on with the engine. I'll replace as long as the video allows me in the time limit, and you know, normally I do about 15 to 18 minutes videos, and if it goes over that, of course I'll bring it on to another part video. But I will get to the fan belts, check the alternator, do the spark plug wires and plugs, things like that. And also I'm also going to be replacing the valve cover gasket, so I'm going to be showing you how to replace all that in many videos to come. So there you go, this is installed and ready to go.